This is a short briefing that Andy Burnham's team have sent journalists around what to expect, basically, in the speech that he will give in Downing Street after he has got back from Buckingham Palace, having been asked to form a government by King Charles. There's not lots in there. It'll obviously be longer in content than the excerpts that we've been given, but I think I'd summarise it by saying that it will be quite optimistic, quite hopeful, but quite humble as well. As you mentioned there, he'll talk about how he's acutely aware that he is the sixth person to walk up Downing Street as Prime Minister and to form a new government in the last decade. Basically, that there have been people that have come before him that have been promising change, that have been promising effective government and haven't delivered it. He'll talk about how now is not the time for triumphalism as well, but actually a time for honesty and reflection. And what he'll talk about wanting to achieve in government is political stability, effective government that can together basically deliver tangible improvements for people's lives. And the phrase he uses a couple of times is to give voters breathing room. Now, I had a flick back through Keir Starmer's first speech that he gave after coming back from the palace a couple of years ago after he'd won the general election. And in themes, they're quite similar. You know, a hopeful note, trying to make people feel better off, restoring trust and restoring politics, as Keir Starmer put it back then anyway, to public service. I think what does set them apart, that you can say is fair, though, is that Andy Burnham probably has a more fleshed out story of how he wants to get there, at least in the broad brushstrokes that he's been painting that story in so far, in terms of devolution, ceding power out of Westminster and London and the South East, in terms of more public control of utilities and crucial services. And I think in the way that he talks and the language that he adopts politically, for Andy Burnham, this is about putting Labour as a party and the Labour government back in touch with its working class roots. So, look, we're going to get more of the sort of broad brushstroke vibe-based politics that we've grown used to from Andy Burnham over the last month or two. But in 24 hours' time, he is going to be Prime Minister. He is going to be in number 10, and the kind of vibe-based campaigning will have to an extent, give way a little bit to some tangible, practical ideas and policies of how he is going to put that into practice.